If you guys were to sum this season up with a GIF, what would it be?
What's the most disappointed GIF? Probably like one of those of like a kid where he opens something that he thinks is a Nintendo, but it's actually crayons and a coloring book or some shit.
Underwear. Just the classic
Socks.
bait and switch.
Socks for sure.
Mine would be the Kermit just pounding away at his keyboard because the internet is just ruthless right now about the season.
Oh no, what about the fat guy who's sitting at his desk and he just like starts throwing shit up in the air? He's like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck all this. That's my GIF. I'm more disappointed than Bran's wife is going to be on their wedding night.
Oh God, he's not going to take a wife.
Well, she would be disappointed.
Wow. Because why would she be disappointed, Smithers?
Because I don't think his dick works.
And he's emotionless, so he doesn't care how she feels at all.
That too.
Mine would be Deshaun Jackson dropping the ball at the 1 yard line for that touchdown to game one. Because it's like they had everything from all seasons, even season 7 was good. They're just like, all right, let's just, pooch it in. Nope, dropped it, botched it, lost the game.
I knew that you wouldn't ask this question without having something that you thought about way too hard.
Oh, yeah. Well, I saw Allen Robinson did that. He did a GIF. Give me a GIF that would represent this season. I thought it was a good question. I didn't post it because I couldn't find the Deshaun Jackson fumbling one. And I was like, whatever.
So let's talk about this kind of just step by step. Somebody needs to make a GIF of the naked guy walking by Tyrion in the very beginning. And it's like me after a night out trying to act like a normal person in society. And then like when Tyrion turns to look at him, it's like everybody else in public.
I think you need to do that.
Someone with more skills than me can take that on. But
yeah, they were all staring at him too. Jon Snow did a double take. I'm like, dude, he's a burn victim.
That guy had a rough fucking night.
We probably had a worse night than that guy did.
Yeah, we did. I can't believe we didn't get Grey Worm versus Jon Snow, because that interaction they had in the beginning was like, fuck yeah, they're going to fight it out. There was no fighting in this entire episode, now that I think about it.
Oh my God, yeah. No, they just jumped around time like a lot too without even saying anything. They're just like, let's just get this over with. Pack it up, boys. We're done.
A full heel turn for Grey Worm. It wasn't enough that they made us hate Daenerys and tangentially Jon Snow. Now we have to hate Grey Worm too. Just go to fucking Noth already. Get out of here. We didn't even like Grey Worm to start out. I did. I liked his interaction with Missandei, and I don't know, man. It just fucking
go back
sucked.
to the recordings. We were like, do we even care? That was like episode 2.
I guess. Mark, did Tyrion, when he was going to find his sister and brother, did he get through the holes that you were talking about last week where there was light coming through?
Yeah, did you see those? I'm like, they for sure could have got through those.
He just puts down his torch and he's like, I can easily get through this.
I instantly noticed that, and I turned to Kelly. I'm like, hey, this is in the last episode. I'm pretty sure this opening, like above all the boulders, they could have just slipped through.
100%.
Move some rocks. And they showed actually like the carnage afterwards and Tyrion walking through. And I saw someone just like do a still shot of that, put a red circle like 10 feet to the left and be like, if they only would have stood 10 feet to the left, they would have survived the whole thing.
No rubble there.
0.
And let's talk about the rubble. There was barely any rubble on top of them. If you're going to die from rubble, you need to be pretty buried, I feel like. Like, it looked like there was maybe half a layer of rock on top of them. Tyrion literally removed like 5 rocks, and it was like their head. I'm like, all right.
It was literally 3. The third rock, it revealed Cersei's face.
Just weak as shit.
Did you see there was a water bottle in the scene with the council?
I did. Just terrible, man. It's just like one last fuck you. After all the backlash for the coffee cup, you'd think they would have taken a look through the last episode and just been like, okay. We're all right. Nope.
I feel like that just sums up this season is like, it's rushed. Whatever. It's fine. No one's going to care. Psych. What were they thinking? Clean it up. You had 2 years to do this.
Exactly. And what made this show great is never knowing what was going to come next. Like your favorite character could be there 1 minute and gone the next. This was the most predictable fucking episode I've ever seen. Like when Tyrion is going through the rubble, you knew he was going to find Jaime's gold hand. Just like so fucking obvious. I said it out loud and my wife's sitting next to me like, yeah, okay. Like, totally believable. I just, so disappointing.
We're waiting for George R.R. Martin to save us all from this nightmare of this fake ending. Should we go into the IMDb rating scores?
Sure, go ahead.
We're going to get into that. The first 7 seasons of this was a nice little stat you brought up. There was one episode through season 5 that was like 8.1 was the worst episode. There was more perfect scores through the first 6 seasons than scores under 8.5. There was 2 scores that were 8.5. Everything else was above, like basically above 9. A lot of them were 8.9s. This season, the highest was an 8.3. It was just 8, 8.3, 7.9, 6.0, 6.6, 5.2. Just like the graphic here is like shows a drastic change. It's so sad. It's so sad. We should post this on our Instagram.
The best scene of the entire season 8, was Dany landing, getting off of Drogon and like walking out, and Drogon is behind her and you can see the wings. So
chills.
To their credit, the cinematography never failed.
Yeah.
It's just the writing was terrible.
The one scene where Dany was actually looking out over the Dothraki and the Unsullied, that was a pretty cool shot too.
You like her speech at all?
Her speech was good. Very tyrannical. Is that the correct word to use there?
Yeah, but you said it wrong, but that's fine.
How do you say it?
Tyrannical.
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 Tyrannical. We just
like tyranny.
We just speak differently.
Okay.
Tyrannical.
Yes, I speak correct and you speak improperly.
Tyrannical.
I wish that Tyrion, when he was walking up, I wish that he would have sacrificed himself and like stabbed Dany. That would have been way more interesting than what we actually got.
I thought there was a slight chance that was going to happen, just the way he was walking up to her.
I didn't think they had the balls to do it.
They didn't. And I liked that he did stand up to her. Like that was the only person to stand up to her. Even Jon was being just a coward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead he used his words to cut her deep.
And then literally cut her deep.
I guess Arya now has just been reduced to nothing. She has no purpose anymore. You're never going to see her again take somebody's face and try and, assassinate. It's just fucking
That was a fatal flaw. Fatal flaw. They built up this amazing story for her, and then they didn't use it once. They used it kind of ambiguously through killing the Night King, but
maybe that's speculation. You don't even know.
Exactly. Like Arya was such a badass character in the books. She rescued 100 different men from Harrenhal when she was staying and working for Tywin Lannister, and like killed a bunch of guards in sweet ways to escape. They just like washed right over that. There's so that wasn't even early on in the seasons, but like they just washed over her character so much. She was more of a badass than people know.
I don't know. I guess she kind of prods Jon. Jon is so ignorant at this point that it takes Tyrion and Arya both to convince him, like, hey, Dany is evil, you need to kill her. Hit me in the head with a fucking brick, man. It's so fucking obvious. And I don't think he even realized it, or Tyrion didn't convince him until he asks him, would you have done the same thing? You've been up there on that dragon. Would you have burned the entire city and all these little kids down? It's fucking infuriating.
I mean, that was a good scene. With Tyrion, anything with Tyrion was good, but they just skipped over so much. It just felt so rushed. I'm so disappointed.
What about Jon stabbing Dany? Did you see that coming?
Yeah.
You did?
I do want to give them credit for one more shot before Jon goes in. Drogon popping up out of the snow was kind of cool.
That was awesome. I called it though early on. I said no one would be sitting on the Iron Throne.
Because there is no Iron Throne. Dany never even got to sit on it, which is a little bit satisfying. Like she put her hand on it, and you got that crescendo of the music, but Jon comes in and stabs her before she gets a chance to sit on it, which a little bit satisfying, I guess.
And I thought actually Wilpo is the one who I think I brought this up on one of the earlier episodes that he said Dany was going to do something stupid. Jon's going to have to kill Dany. Then the dragon's going to kill Jon, which I thought was going to happen, right? Like, I was like, oh, damn, Will called it. That's fucking kind of annoying to me. But at the same time, then I wanted it to happen. He just burned the throne. So I was like, eh.
Well, I said last week when we did our review that it had to be Jon who did it, which makes sense because he was raised by, Starks. They say you have to execute your own prisoner. She wasn't really a prisoner, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you have to carry out your own dirty work.
True.
So it was always going to be him. Which, again, lends to the predictability of this show. At least that was in his character line, though. But, I mean, after he stabs her, Drogon gets his Mufasa Simba moment where he's, like, nudging her. At least I had some sort of feeling for that as opposed to the anger that I had for the rest of the fucking episode.
I almost just, like, wanted to get it over with because I was like, this isn't gonna satiate my Game of Thrones need. It was just too predictable. Agreed.
He did carry Dany off somewhere. I mean, which was very weird because I was like, wait, does he have hands? and then they zoom out and it's like his back foot, I guess. But
yeah, he scooped her nicely. It was a clean scoop.
Where do you think he's taking her?
Where's that island with all the dragons, or where they were supposed to be born? Yep, Valyria.
You think they could bring her back for a spinoff? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we had some kind of resurrection.
That's a good point. I don't know what I wanted with all these, spinoffs, to be honest. We have a couple different options to go from. I mean, we got Arya.
West of Westeros.
West of Westeros. She's the flat earther.
Dude, I have that written down in my fucking notes. So she's going to go find the edge of the earth.
I'd rather have the Tormund, Jon Snow, and Ghost. 3 wacky friends beyond the wall getting into mischief.
Yeah, they could be out there like hunting giants and shit.
And sucking on their titty milk.
I guess. Brick, your prediction was really close to coming true. And I'm really glad that it didn't, because it would have sucked. But Drogon almost burnt him. And I thought they were going to do the thing where it was, he is a Targaryen and he's unburnt because of it, which would have made zero fucking sense because he's been burnt before.
If it wasn't that, though, I think that's where this whole episode failed, is not revealing who Jon Snow really was, that he was a Targaryen. I think that's where they really fucked up, and that was the one point that made me extremely pissed off after finishing this one.
The point that made me the most mad was all of a sudden this actual grunt in the soldier in the army was trying to get Jon Snow to have be punished, and then he just sails away, and it's like Jon's brother's the king of the 6 kingdoms.
And his sister's the queen of the other one. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, yeah, he's gone. You can just stay here now. That's fine.
It would have made more sense for them to say, hey, you can come home now. They don't have any power. And Jon just say, no, my place is, north of the wall or at the wall or some shit.
And shouldn't it still be 7 kingdoms, since Bran is the ruler of the 6 kingdoms? It's House Stark. So shouldn't he just have Winterfell too?
I don't fucking know, man.
Or does Sansa not trust him? I mean,
that's a good point.
I could see a lot of people not trusting him, but...
You know what else bothered me, though, is they don't even show Jon getting captured.
Yeah, they just fast-forwarded 5 months or whatever to, the next...
I was
to when they're all
confused.
meeting.
I thought that was, the next hour.
He could have, run away and been like, hey, everything's fine, guys. I gotta go.
Yeah. Hey, did you see the dragon just, went away? You know dragons. Unpredictable.
Fucking crazy, man. I don't know. And for some reason, the Unsullied answer to this council that they have no allegiance to whatsoever.
And the Dothraki, who just got, put back into the show after they all got killed at the White Walker show.
Yeah, well, and their Khaleesi gets murdered. So, they're all about revenge and honor and shit, and they just fuck off and go somewhere and you don't have any idea where.
Their Khaleesi gets murdered, so in their culture, technically Jon Snow should be their leader, because that's how they do their leaders.
That's true. He's got the long hair. He could have a good braid.
Hell yeah. So that's another double botch. This is the biggest botch of all. God damn it.
Yeah. The only good part of the whole council meeting was Arya versus Yara. And Arya saying, if you talk about my brother again, I will cut your throat.
I'll fucking kill you.
That was amazing. You know what else doesn't make sense is, I'm just going to keep rambling here. The Unsullied are now going to go to Noth, and they're all just going to die off because they can't reproduce because none of them have dicks.
There's got to be one that has a dick. Just one.
Just one of them that they missed?
One, weaseled its way into not getting its dick chopped off or something.
He just, tucked it between his legs when they were doing the inspections. Yeah. Yep, nothing to see here.
Or he has, a micro penis. They're like, yeah, they chopped it off already. And realistically, it's just his dick.
Yes.
How about Edmure Tully trying to stand up and claim his kingdom, and Sansa just telling him to sit the fuck down?
Dude, that was actually
so
hilarious.
rightful. That was so perfect, because where the hell were they during all these battles? Right? I mean, weren't the Sand Snakes were supposed to come and help out? I didn't see anybody. It was just except for the North, the Unsullied, and the Dothraki in the original war for King's Landing. Where was the Tullys?
I have no fucking idea, man. Was that Lisa Aaron's son?
Yes, yeah. Robin.
Yeah,
what
Robin
the
was
fuck
there.
is he doing there?
Young titty milk boy.
He wouldn't have fucking survived that.
Didn't he get taken away with?
Yeah, he
Peter
went to
Baelish?
go train and shit. He's probably a sick fighter right now.
You defend everybody in this show that sucks, and it pisses me off to no end.
Yo, how pissed were you when they gave Bran the crown, and you just pictured me at home watching this and just yes.
I knew you were. But I said that Davos and Gendry were going to live through the entire season, and they both did. So I feel a little bit better about that. But the whole rationale for Bran being king is Tyrion's speech about Bran has stories. Let's let him be the fucking king. Like what? What are you talking about?
You're
but instead,
a prisoner.
The idea that they laughed at was Sam's that like, hey, let's install a democracy and let everyone decide.
They're like, you idiot.
No, that's ridiculous. Let's go with the guy that has the stories.
Guilty as charged with the stories.
Fuck off, dude. And how about Tyrion immediately giving him a shitty nickname like Bran the Broken? Come on, dude. Like, go with like Big Dick Bran or something.
Or just go
Bran
with Bran
the Brilliant,
the King.
Yeah,
doesn't
literally
even have to be
anything.
alliteration. Bran the Broken, just the little subtle jab at him.
But he doesn't want for anything anymore, including good nicknames.
What I took away from Tyrion's speech is that Bran would be the best king because obviously he can see into the past and see where society and other kings have fucked up in the past and hopefully create a better future. That's kind of what I took away from it.
His response is like, "Why do you think I came all this way? Like, close your mouth, you fucking mouth-breathing idiot." God, I'm so mad.
I knew the whole time.
He had to have known, too, right? He just knew all along that he was going to be the king and didn't say anything to anybody?
Yeah, no, 100%. Apparently he knows everything at all times. He's the three-eyed raven.
Yeah, he did know for sure. No, he can't see into the future, but he probably knew.
I think the best part of that whole episode was the council with Bronn and everybody sitting at like the round table with Tyrion at the helm. They're like, yeah, we need to fill 2 more seats. The war guy and the Master of Whispers. And it's like, yo, Bran doesn't need a Master of Whispers. He already knows everything that's going on. Don't fucking tell me. Leave that seat open. It's fine.
The fact that you see that in like every tweet everywhere is just sheds light on how obvious it was that was completely unnecessary. I don't fucking get it.
Or maybe they left it open for that reason.
That whole scene was just filling in plot holes. That was like, okay, we haven't touched on what's going to happen with Bronn. He'll be the master of coin now.
What the fuck does he know about being the master of coin?
That was...
Well, he knows how to make some good deals to get him to Highgarden. I mean, gotta respect something, gotta respect him that much. I mean, how did Peter Baelish get there, you know?
By stabbing people in the back.
Bronn did it by stabbing people in the front.
His entire story for season 8 could have been written out of this, and it added nothing. It just was a reminder like, oh, hey, there's that fucking Bronn guy. He could have gone the way of the Dornish girls, and nobody would have noticed.
Yeah, I almost forgot what happened to those Dornish girls. They were poisoned or killed by Cersei?
No, they left them in the cells down in the fucking basement, I guess.
God damn it.
I don't know. What is Jon going to the Night's Watch to do? Like, what are they watching now?
He's not watching anything, right?
Exactly. There's no reason to be out there.
Yeah, so isn't he now just going to live with the wildlings?
I guess, but what's the point of the wall if it's not keeping out the White Walkers?
Well, what else are they going to do with it?
It's just used as punishment at this point.
The Great Wall of China, you could turn it into like a tourist trap or something, but it serves no real purpose.
0%. Giving tours there would suck ass. Oh my God.
Keeping out the fucking Mongolians, man.
Well, I think it doesn't serve a purpose, and they showed us that because all the wildlings were there. Like, I feel like they were all living there for a while.
They were our allies, or they were the allies of the Night's Watch at some point, after the big war.
Yeah.
What should Brienne have been writing about Jaime in that journal?
He's got a small dick and fucks his sister. I hate that guy.
Everybody else in this was super petty. Sansa was petty as fuck. Like, just
Unreal.
let her get some petty stuff in there, man.
I agree. What did you think she put in there?
I think that's exactly what it should have been, is, perpetual sister fucker and died of not being able to get a boner or something.
Did you like Tyrion's reaction of not being in the book, A Song of Swords?
Oh, yeah. This is our, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad moment? Dude, that's so fucking stupid. I hate it when they do that.
Smithers, I feel like if there was a slight chance that you actually came out of this episode liking it, and they still had that scene in there, you'd appreciate it more. You'd be like, yeah, I like that callback to the actual book.
Absolutely not.
I think because of the fact that you just fucking hate this episode so much, every little thing now is just like...
That's not true. I've given a couple compliments.
He does habitually hate everything, so...
I actually didn't mind it. Did you guys pause, though, when Brienne of Tarth was writing what she was writing in the book about Jaime?
No.
Did
Couldn't
you
have
read
cared
it?
less.
Okay. Yeah, good thing you didn't, because that would have pissed you off even more.
It was probably something about how brave he was and handsome and shit.
Died defending his king.
He's an oath keeper.
You know what else sucks? My man Podrick finally gets some shine. He's a knight of the Kingsguard now. And now he's just relegated to pushing Bran around for the rest of his fucking life.
Good point. Pod. What a poor soul.
Dude, he got the short end of every stick ever.
But doesn't rumor has it he has like a huge dong?
That is true. I believe that was the rumor. Pod the Rod?
Yeah, Pod the Rod could be banging Bran's wife. That could be the one thing that could be satisfying, right? But
Bran would know. Bran sees everything.
He would be like this. That's fine. I can't do anything. What is my little cripple body going to do? Go ahead.
So now he's a cripple and a cuck, is what you're saying.
Cripple cuck, yes.
Jesus.
The one thing they missed out on is they had the chance to bring back fucking Ed Sheeran and redeem themselves by having half of his face burnt off. Because in that scene with Bronn, when he's in the brothel, like, the first episode or second episode? And they mentioned the red-haired boy with the burned face now. They would have had Ed Sheeran in this episode. It would have made it 10 times better.
Yeah, I agree. Just with his fucked up face. I wonder if we're going to find out that there was some cameo in this.
Wait,
I don't know. Probably not. It was just not even good enough of an episode for people to even want to jump in there.
They called some people and the actors were just like, now I'm good.
Yeah, we saw the ending. It wasn't good.
Bran shows up to this High Council meeting for like 2 minutes and then just fucks off. He's like, I'm going to go now again. And just what else could he possibly have to do?
I thought his eyes were going to roll to the back of his head. And that was what he meant by, I'm going to go.
Jesus, yeah, no, that because he's going to go find the dragon. Yeah. Oh, is the dragon here anymore? No, okay. See you later.
Bronn did get one final burn in on Sir Davos, though. He's like, what are you, the master of grammar now?
Oh, yes. See, that interaction was actually funny. I thought that was good.
Hold on, sorry. Could Bran have gone into Drogon while Dany was going on her fucking tirade and controlled him to not burn down the city?
I guess. Probably. But wouldn't that have meant that Dany would have came down and been like, hey,
what the fuck?
That wasn't my fault?
Yeah, and then when she talked to Jon, she wouldn't have been like, well, can't have mercy here. I got to kill everybody first before we're going to have people rule.
Did you guys catch the joke that Tyrion was starting to tell? They cut off like the ending, but the intro is, I once brought a jackass and a honeycomb into a brothel.
Was that coming to Bronn and...
That was after Bronn says, like, we need to rebuild all the brothels. So the joke goes like this. The madam of the brothel says, what can we do for you? And Tyrion says, I need a woman to lay with, for mine has left me. And the madam says, whatever for, and what's the honeycomb and the mule for? My woman found a genie in a bottle, and he granted her 3 wishes. The first was for a house fit for a queen, so he gave her this honeycomb. The second was that she have the nicest ass in all of the land, so she gave me this donkey. The madam says, so what about the third wish? And Tyrion says, well, she asked the genie to make my cock hang down past my knee. And the madam says, well, that one's not so bad. And Tyrion says, not so bad. I used to be 6'3". That's the joke there. The internet. Thank you, internet, for pointing that one out to me.
That's a good one.
I had not heard that joke before. What else do we even say about this?
How would you have wanted it to end?
Pretty much any other way. I don't know. They did the thing where they wrap everything up in a nice, neat little package, and that's not necessary. The Sopranos left you thinking. Breaking Bad had some of the characters getting away, and you wonder, like, what's Jesse Pinkman going to do now? And by the way, the best part of the entire Game of Thrones thing last night was the Westworld promo with Jesse Pinkman. I was like, this looks fucking awesome. What is this show?
Oh my God, Dolores.
And then you get the reveal at the end.
Dolores.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Come on.
I missed that one. I'll have to go back and check that out, honestly.
Yeah, I digress. But
I got to give this one to Ryan Stevens. He said that he really wanted Jon Snow to get stabbed in the chest and become the next Night King as the final scene by the Children of the Forest. I'm like, oh, okay.
Or you have Dany resurrect and she's the new Night Queen or something. Like, literally fucking anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I feel like if they would have they had spent 3 episodes in Winterfell, they spent 3 episodes in King's Landing. If they would have just spent 1 season at each and like properly did it and thoroughly fleshed out the whole Game of Thrones lore, got it, we would be fine with it. But the fact that they rushed it all and shoved it into 6 episodes was like, ugh.
The way that Game of Thrones thrived is by not giving you happy endings. And in the end, everybody's got their happy ending. And that's what I think is bullshit.
Agreed. It didn't stick true to the guns of what Game of Thrones was all about.
Mark, you've been a little bit quiet. Why don't you weigh in here and tell me how you think it should have ended?
I'm indifferent. I think if Jon Snow ended up on the throne, that would have been cool. I also think the big thing I wanted, said it before, is the reveal that he's a Targaryen, and just to see the reactions of everyone, the Dothraki, the Unsullied, all of his fellow soldiers. But they didn't do that. Whether that means he ends up being king or not, put like Davos on the throne. I don't care. And then have Jon Snow and Sansa and all of them go back to Winterfell and do something else. I don't know. But I agree with you, Smithers. Having that happy ending didn't do well for a series ending for Game of Thrones. That's not what this show is about. Overall, not happy, but I'm not surprised either, because I think we all went into this final episode. We had an hour and a half. There was too many fucking things open that needed to be closed that they tried fucking resolving, and it just didn't work. They jumped around way too much. They never do the 5 days later type thing where it just fades to black and then shows you a different scene. They never do that kind of shit. And it just didn't seem like the Game of Thrones we all know and love.
You know, I came in with extremely, extremely low expectations, and I was still somehow let down and disappointed. It's even when you expect nothing, it's still fucking disappointing. It just sucks. And I really do want to hear, because I know that there are people out there that liked it, and that's good. I just want you to tell me why. And I'd like us to throw up an Instagram post to get some voicemails on this that we can play in next week's episode, because I'm probably not going to be able to be convinced that it was good or that it was what I wanted, but I'd like to at least hear from somebody else why they thought it was a good ending.
I want to give two quick shout outs. First of all, Chris Key called it, should have been called Shame of Thrones. Hilarious.
Got him.
So lame. And also, my man Brett Simon goes, something that was driving him crazy was, what sort of ridiculous symbolism were they going for when a dragon, a big, dumb, crazed animal, finds his dead mother and has enough circumspect to realize it was her ambition for the Iron Throne that led to her demise. So he must burn the Iron Throne so that no one repeats her mistake and the world can be at peace. A dragon had that kind of insight.
Well, if you read the books, the Meisters do believe that dragons are actually smarter than humans.
Treated. Yeah.
Come on, Mr. I read the book expert.
Maybe the insight that the dragon actually had, this was also a meme that I saw on the internet, was that Bran was now the king and didn't need the throne. So he just burned that shit.
Can they at least stick some swords on his wheelchair?
Yeah, that would be kind of sick.
Badass.
Dude, Bran's the best. All right. That's the only reason I like this ending.
Keep saying it. Why? Why is he the best? I want to hear more about how awesome Bran is. King Bran, the Broken.
Because he speaks his mind and he has so few little words, but he gets the point across every time.
In his riddles that he's been saying throughout the fucking... That's why he's been saying riddles, because he's like, I'm going to keep it ambiguous so I can become the king.
No, he just says everything in an ambiguous tone so that people will make their own decisions, and they'll just think oh, he's so wise. He made this decision, when in reality, it's everybody else that's making decisions for him.
So he's super smart is what you're saying.
He can't even wipe his own ass.
Yeah.
That's not his fault. That's not his fault. Don't put that on him. He wasn't born like that.
He probably could. He's probably smart enough to do it. He's lazy enough to not do it. I'm the king wiping my buttocks.
What's the next show that we need to recap? Stranger Things?
Probably. Yeah. Westworld's not
we
coming
need
out
something
to
to fill in time
right?
before then.
Yeah, we'll think about it. Let's bring it up to the people. Let's see what kind of show we need recapped.
Send us your voicemails. We'd love to hear why you liked or hated this. I mean, it doesn't have to be good or bad. Just, I want to hear somebody's opinion. So that's 847-920-6107.
Was this the biggest botch of any series you've ever witnessed?
It's going to be really hard to top Dexter.
Dude, Dexter was so
running
bad.
off to become a lumberjack.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Never saw it, but I only heard terrible things.
Yeah, don't ever. You're welcome.
Yeah, even that spoiler doesn't make any sense, and that's how it was.
It's up there. Just because the expectations were so high coming into this season.
And they wasted a whole, 2 years. It was 2 years. The hype was too much. Too much.
They spent $10 million on each episode to leave a fucking coffee cup in the background or a water bottle or some shit. Any final thoughts, guys?
All hail Bran.
# not my king. All right. We will catch up on this on this week's episode when we review Aladdin. So until then.
Ooh, chumps out, motherfuckers.
Ciao, bella.